Jose Soriano just out there with throwing that gas for the first guy you see all year.
Yeah, he threw the ball, extremely well. He also kind of implemented a four-seam fastball. He gave us a tough time today. 2 of 4. He's got a good curveball. He threw the ball really well.
What did you think of just kind of the overall quality of your guys' at-bats against him, and do you feel like you guys were able to make him work a little bit?
They got better as the game went on. We had an opportunity there, but we started walking. We started seeing more pitches. We drove the pitch count up, but he was able to settle down and make pitches where he needed to. You got to give him some credit.
He obviously relies a good bit on a sinker, and then the reliever they brought in right after was throwing a bunch of sinkers. Given that you guys are so right-handed, did you see a pattern in how they were able to attack you guys and how they were able to pitch your lineup?
I just saw that they threw the ball really well. They came in with a pretty good game plan on how they're going to pitch to us. We just got to make adjustments. I think had nothing to do with how many righties we had. I just thought that they came in and they were going to force us to stay inside of the ball, use the middle of the field, and we're just going to have to make that adjustment as we move on.
The Jordan thing aside with the roof, it seems like there used to be a situation where players preferred the roof closed. Do you think that's still the case, or do you think that's changing within your club?
No, we'd rather have the roof closed. Hey, that's probably the second ball I've ever seen hit that part of the roof. And obviously the ball, wherever it strikes, that ball was in play and landed foul, so it's foul ball. But if it landed fair, we play it as is. So he crushed that ball. That ball would have landed upper deck. So
The innings that the blue ball gave you tonight, I guess, I think 2 1/3.
Yeah.
You carried 3 long relievers. Is that just
That's
something you're going to have to rely on?
And that's the whole idea of carrying those guys. Now blue ball obviously will be down for a couple of days. We do have a couple of guys that can do what blue ball just did. So moving forward, that's the whole idea of having some guys that can give you multiple innings. And blue ball was really good, up to 98. Just really good stuff. He just continues to get better and better.
You said in spring training you wanted multiple of those guys. Was 3 always like the ideal number? Or was that kind of a factor of the other things that went on with injuries?
I want to have multiple. We do have a few. We at least have 3 guys that we feel good going through 2+ innings, but we don't want to get into a habit of doing that all the time, right? Because there'll be some, those guys now would need a couple of days to get back on the mound, and we need all those guys healthy, and we would like to have blue ball back sooner than later. But that's the whole idea of having all those guys available for you.
Do you expect a lot of intentional walks for Jordan this season? And is that also like a challenge to be talking about?
Listen, once you start, some of those guys start barreling some balls, that will stop. That inning could have gone a different way with if Carlos hits that ball in the gap.
What'd you think of Brown?
You know what? I thought they had a pretty good approach against him. They lay off some really tough pitches, that fastball up that they typically chase. They did a good job of laying off of it, and then also they saw a lot of pitches. They fouled a bunch of pitches off, but his stuff was really good. He deployed a really good curveball today. I was really encouraged to see how he used that curveball today. That was a really plus pitch for him.
His pitch count the first couple innings, was that more due to their approach, or was his command missing or just a little bit? Or
No, it was just more approach. They did a nice job just, waiting him out, making him work, fouling some pitches off, laying some nasty stuff. They had a pretty good game plan in place, and they executed it well.
Llamó la atención que los primeros 2 turnos de su catcher lo van a mejor. Ya él fue a conversar con Jose Brown antes del comienzo de cada uno de sus turnos. ¿Algo en específico que le pueda decir o fue solo inspiración del catcher?
Sí, cuestión de ir y hablar con el lanzador. Quizá vio algo en ese momento que tenía que discutir, pero no vi nada particular en cuanto a esa visita.
¿Qué te pareció sobre la aparición de Christian Roa?
Pues mira, tiró la bola muy bien, tuvo un buen sprint trainer. El único error que cometió fue en esa recta ahí entre y dos al bateador zurdo, pero vino tirando la bola muy bien. Ejecutó con Mike Trout, fue el único lanzador que sacó a Mike Trout de hoy. So, fue una muy buena actuación.
Yo lo mencionabas brevemente, pero si pudieras hacerlo en español también, ¿cómo te deja el sentido hoy en cuanto a la ofensiva? Tardó un poco en venir o en encenderse, pero también lo dices, de que una vez que comiencen a golpear con la parte correcta con los Birds, va a ser otra historia.
Sí, es el primer juego de la temporada y nos enfrentamos a un lanzador que tiró la bola muy bien, hizo sus ajustes, implementó sus 4 posturas. Él usualmente es más de tira su recta 2 costuras, pero tiene su curva y tiró la bola muy bien, no se le puede quitar el crédito. Nosotros pues vamos a hacer nuestros ajustes y venir mañana y poner mejores turnos al juego.
With the Jordan at bat in the first inning, with him hitting it off the scaffolding, have you ever seen a ball hit here with home run potential that gets?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that. I think that's his second one I've seen. I think it was Devers hit one kind of similar. Definitely that ball would have been a homer. But they did get the call right.
Joe, ¿cómo te sentiste para el primer día? Los nuevos brazos, también la gente nueva de tu staff, esa comunicación ya digamos en un juego que cuenta como el de hoy, ¿cómo te sentiste?
Pues sí, pues fue un buen día completo, ¿sabes? Nos preparamos muy bien, la comunicación con muchos de mi staff nuevo, pues considero que fue excelente y es dar la oportunidad a estos lanzadores, especialmente lanzadores que no conocemos, queremos pues darle la oportunidad a ver qué pueden hacer en momentos cruciales en el juego y creo que la actuación fue muy buena y tiramos la bola muy bien hoy, ponchamos 14, soy bien contento con la actuación que hicimos defensiva con los lanzadores y ofensivamente pues primer día nos enfrentamos a un lanzador que estuvo bien difícil en el día de hoy.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up, okay?
Thanks,